make the car wash closer to my house instead.
Stands up and it's like
I don't think she even falters. It's like you see her eyes roll back in her head for a moment as it claws into her, and then she like her neck goes limp and then she just snaps back forward again before she even hits the ground.
I've never done that before.
That was so cool.
You're at what, 1 hit point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Rudy the Unkillable.
Rock, it's your turn. I'm gonna just start taking shots at this thing. I turn my hex towards it. I get a 26 to hit for 15 damage. That destroys it. And as Rudy stands up and just glares at it, it's like it just like caves in.
And I'm just like, I'm sure I did that while I was
unconscious. You saw the other side, Rudy. We've all seen it. See the other side of the wall.
all of us.
I mean, I guess I see it all the time. Bruce shows me. Bruce shows me. Like, it burns.
I slowly shove the bodies back into the hole to get rid of the smell.
I want to listen against. No. I want to go outside. I'm going to stay outside. And I'm going to start to cast a tiny hut.
Wait, should we do tiny hut on top of the hole so that way nobody can come up?
I just don't want to be in that room anymore.
Okay, cool. With vomit.
I go and sit in the tiny hut.
Do we take Donovan with us just in case?
Donovan and the other two. We'll just jam
the
them
other
all in.
For fun now. No.
No, there's two of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 3 in total. Wait, okay, we lost one other guy. Not the
I
greatest.
mean, it would have been more beneficial if we had lost 2 much later.
We all have one person to handle them.
Well,
Throw them all in the tiny hut.
now can we rest?
Sit down. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can take this. What happened?
It's a bad rest. It's because you're poisoned and sick.
Oh yeah, my
She's still poisoned.
No, you know this one.
still exhausted though. I'm gonna take it.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, so you all take your rest, recuperate your hit points, spend some of those hit dice. Some close calls there.
Well, that takes care of the cave. I can probably go in there now. Less fear of disruption.
2 healing potions and all my dice.
Are you doing all right?
No.
We should investigate the cave. still quite palpable?
Yeah, it's kind of worse because we're dead.
Oh.
I thought this was bad. On the outside.
Maybe a quick scout with Bruce.
Bruce heads in the cave and sees small passage. Collect this one. Written in whispers. Also, I like it.
Bruce, you may feast.
You say that, and I'm like, I hate it when cats do that. It's horrible.
Probably not healthy for him.
This is the way. And I'm gonna go through the hole, and start to clamber through the hole, and try to make my way down while Bruce eats up everyone's puke. He's really enjoying himself. He's really enjoying himself.
I just sit.
I throw up again.
Bruce enjoys that.
Yeah.
Bruce comes over.
Yeah. So,
Wow. So you go into the hole.
I'm gonna start to make my way into the hole.
yeah, it looks like at one time there was a trapdoor that led to a cellar underneath, like just the foundations of the building. There's under the building itself. So basically, there's the stone foundations of the building, and then there's wooden floorboards underneath, and there's kind of like a crawl space that leads down into the cave properly. And it looks like some of the floorboards could have been pulled up, but there's no proper trap. The passageway down into the cavern is a small, rough cave that is actually knee-high in water. And in the cave, on some rocky outcrops, are several chains and tentacles that have been hammered into the cave walls themselves. There's bits of straw and clothing and cloth, and there's clear signs that people have been kept here. There's a lot, you can smell human waste in the water down here, as if people have been kept here for some time, but no one's dead.
While he's exploring that, Rudy, do you want to help me load these prisoners onto the boat? Well, rule number 6, there's always a trail to follow. The trail seems to lead us to this boat. My theory is if we just let it off the dock and let it run its course, eventually we'll find a path to follow.
Or we would wake up Donovan. Nasty.
I suppose we could do that as well. I'm not much for lying.
We could load everyone on the dock, and then we can have a conversation with Donovan.
Why do I have to lie?
Well, are we going to try to... How do we convince Donovan to lead us there?
I have ways of convincing him.
I hope so, because if he is not right in the head, as some of the villagers are, I'm worried that... You remember when we stabbed all those innocent people, possibly innocent, and they didn't even flinch from looking?
Yes.
It leads me to believe that some more drastic interrogation means may not work. So what?
None of the people, I mean, we slaughtered all those people, and none of them got you.
So if we're going to interrogate them, we need to have leverage of some sort. Violence won't get him to talk or get him to lead the way.
I mean, can we advance him?
There we go with the line.
We could,
Line anyone, per se.
I can just keep my mouth shut every time I lie. It sounds awful. I am a changed man.
We're gonna have
comes to. His eyes regard the world like that. He looks at the cottage, back at the dock, at you, at the remains of the troll bodies piled up. Because you got him on the boat, correct? And he looks back at you and frowns.
Donovan, it is imperative we catch up with the prisoners. You need to tell me which way they went.
He looks at you, he looks at the boat, he looks back at you again. No. I don't know.
It is for him. The prisoners may have escaped.
I don't know who you are. You are not one of us.
I'm going to, Donovan, and I'm going to produce an ink and quill and say, write down where you would take the prisoners after this location, and then I'm going to cast suggestion.
It's a 5 on his saving throw. He writes down the words, scrawl out. He's very illegible kind of writing, but it scrawls out. Take the barge down the river. 3 days. On the third day, another river flows in. Passageways of the escarpment. Take the boat into the cabin.
Are there any secret words or phrases we must be aware of?
That's outside the terms of your suggestion.
All right. Knock 'em out, Rudy.
Well, now the question is, do we still bring the prisoners with us, or do we leave them tied up in this cabin? It'll be... Well, with Donovan tied up, the constable gone, it might be a while before anybody comes and finds them. We should be well on our way by then.
But are we... They're gonna cause some alarm, potentially, back at the... Or...
It's midday now. There is a good chance that Schaffberg is already well aware that there's been an issue. There is many people missing in town. There is prisoners that have never made it back. They will be expecting them several days from now, but really, the people in town aren't looking for Donovan or these other prisoners for probably a good few days. They're already alerted to us. Whether they send people this way or not is irrelevant to the people in this cabin.
Now the question is, do we tie them up? Or do we leave them loose?
No, we tie them up. And if we can solve the problem, on our way back, we untie them.
Are we going to head towards the river?
I mean, if you tie them up, they could die of exposure, because it's gonna, if you go away 3 days, it's gonna be a week before you're back. And anyone coming from Schaffberg, it's going to take them a couple days to get here as well.
All right, I'm open for suggestions. Apparently,
we could take them with us.
It's just extra weight, and we're traversing the woods to an unknown location where we're going to meet a monster that we need to subdue. I don't want to worry about prisoners any more than I have to, but if that's the only choice, then...
Do we leave them untied then?
Well, I mean, you're taking a boat.
I suggest we keep the prisoners in the boat, remove any of their defining articles of clothing, put them in rags like the other prisoners, like they did to Rudy. We can potentially use that as a means to get close enough.
Very well.
So I want to, like, back down to rags. No weapons, no equipment.
Blindfold them, gag them.
I'm also going to, how big is the brain?
It had filled the skull of the troll. The troll's head is a good 10 to 12 inches wide, so it was a big brain.
No, stop.
It and like wrap it up and like jam it in my backpack.
Okay. I mean, it's chopped up. Like, it's kind of...
There's pieces.
There's like the limbs coming off of it.
Okay, I'm gonna put as many of the big chunks in jars to try to
Ja,
preserve
sant.
them.
Til Erik Grønneberg. Jeg lurte på
Very
om du
good.
sjekka når tannlegentimen min var.
And I have some in my
Ja,
feed
bytta
bag.
telefon,
There's
så jeg
some
glemte
brain
å
that
svare.
goes towards the research,
på
and others
SMS-en,
this is for users.
Rudy and I are like loading the prisoners on. We're tying them up, and we look
Scraping.
over, and you're just
Ja.
scraping brain into jars, talking to Bruce.
131186.
This large barge...
Nei, jeg
the
trenger for
large
så vidt ikke å
barge
bytte telefonen. Det
could
er en
certainly
jobbtelefon jeg
fit
ringer med nå, så jeg følger med på
almost 2 dozen
privattelefonen også.
people, all said, as well as supplies and provisions. For the
25.10.10.30.
It's relatively easy. There's 4
Okay,
large
skal vi se.
oars
Ja, men
that are
det
used
funker da.
for rowing it,
Altså,
as well as the keel, like, and just to kind of control
Ja,
the
ja.
whole thing. It's easy enough
25.10.10.30.
for the 3 of you working together with 2 of
Ja.
you on the oars and 1 of you
Jeg
on-
kunne kanskje...
on the
Ja, jeg
keel.
lagrer det, så...
can guide it down the
Blended.
river.
Ja, men tusen takk.
And it moves at a good
Ha
clip
det.
once you're moving along with the river, that you don't have to row. Like, there's just a flow overall to it that you can kind of drive the boat forward. You can see how the oars would be necessary if you were going in the opposite direction, because then you have to row against the river itself. And while the river is not fast flowing, it's enough that going against the flow of the river, the current of the river, would require a fair amount of work for many people to do so. So the boat, you take the boat down the river.
How long did he say in the
3
note?
days.
3 days. Can we take a long rest in the boat?
Yes, but it's worth mentioning that there are points as you kind of take the boat, you notice that there are points where they've definitely landed. Like, there's the remains of campsites along the banks of the river, where there's an old campfire and some logs, and in one place actually you come to a spot where they've left some iron rations in a sealed
What?
box as well along the way to supply themselves with.
I guess. Can we say that we also took the rations from the house?
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep the prisoners alive. Shall we make camp
Well,
at one of the?
I lost all my cards somewhere.
I think a camp would be a good idea.
That's not good.
I think
Hopefully they're home.
Rudy looks a little worn down, and I mean, I'm still bleeding.
Yeah, so you finish your short rest, you load back up on the boat, and you row down till the end of the
sucks.
day and make camp.
I'm gonna do
Over-
the tiny hut and then jam. We're gonna jam everyone in it.
The journey goes relatively smoothly over the next couple days. Once in a while, you suspect someone might be watching you in the woods, but they don't approach your camp. The river itself is not terribly wide. At its widest point, it is only about 50 feet in width, but it continues on for several miles each day, making a good clip. If you had to walk this distance, it would probably take twice as long. If you had to walk this distance with a group of prisoners, it would take weeks. So loading them onto the barge is certainly efficient.
And we get a long rest in those few days?
Yes. Yep. After the 3rd day travel, late in the afternoon of the 3rd day, the river begins to flow around another series of escarpments. Low, most of them not any higher than 30 to 50 feet, as the wetlands, the lower steps of the mountains kind of break up the wetlands in some respects. And the river is widening as you may be getting closer and closer to where it ends in the probably, if you continued on this for another 3 or 4 days, you might hit the Durand River. At this point, you can see that the river, another tributary comes into the river at the escarpment here, and there is a small cave that the water flows into, where the escarpment is at its highest.
Looks like that's path to wherever it is we're going.
We could leave the boat outside, make our way in.
Is the cave still like river?
Yeah.
You might want to take the boat.
Keep going.
Alright. The boat, this low cave is enough that you can reach your hands up and touch the top of the cave and it flows through. But it gradually raises a little bit before you can see.
We're here.
We should decide how we approach. We will be expecting Donovan and the others, a large assortment of prisoners. We might be able to get the jump on them.
I have an idea.
Please do tell me.
You don't happen to still have that reed with you, do you?
Do I have the reach?
Roll a d6, and on a 5 or 6 you do.
Oh, there goes that plan.
Is there any reeds as we go by?
Yeah.
Like a reed as we go by.
You can pick a few reeds from outside.
Yes.
I say, if we want the element of surprise, there's no need to hide
Well,
the
then.
prisoners. It could be a
Thanks for watching. Gonna have to look for my cards and everything. Shit. Need a new wallet. Yeah, have a nice day. See you later.